I want to thank all of you, not just for the commitment you've made to help us win in November, but for simply doing your job. I've become something of a frequent flyer these past few years. And as you might have heard, we had a little incident a couple of months back. While avoiding thunderstorms, our pilots had a little trouble controlling the plane's pitch, and we diverted to St. Louis for an emergency landing. When we landed, I was asked if I was scared, and I said no. The press corps was. The truth is, we were lucky to have excellent pilots and skilled NATCA air traffic controllers guiding us down in a pinch. So I know how much the nation relies on you. Today I want to tell you why you can rely on me. For 8 long years, you've been dealing with the most anti-labor administration in our memory. It's not just that they haven't been fighting for you. They actually tried to stop you from fighting for yourselves. They don't believe in unions or organizing. They've packed the Labor Relations Board with their corporate buddies. Well, it's not the Department of Management, it's the Department of Labor, and we are going to take it back. This moment, this election, is our chance to say enough. And that is why I'm running for President of the United States. Now, John McCain has suddenly cast himself as an agent of change. But the numbers don't add up. When you've been in Washington for 26 years, when your campaign is run by 7 of the very Washington lobbyists you claim to be running against, when you voted with George Bush 90% of the time, when and how exactly are you going to bring about the change we need? We can't afford to let the next 4 years look like the last 8. Just look at how they've run the FAA. 2 years ago, George Bush's FAA decided they didn't have to engage in fair collective bargaining. They said no to negotiations, no to good wages, no to opportunities for advancing your careers, and they had the nerve to call that a contract. Well, that didn't sound right to me. So I introduced the FAA Fair Labor Management Dispute Resolution Act to protect your right to fair treatment from your employer and level the playing field for negotiations by requiring neutral, binding arbitration to resolve any impasse. John McCain has a different philosophy. He said union contracts cripple government employees. He's voted to privatize air traffic control. And in his own words, contract towers are just as safe, or in some cases safer, as FAA staff towers. John McCain doesn't get it, because what's really crippled the national airspace system is too many experienced air traffic controllers being driven into early retirement and too many promising recruits choosing other careers for want of fair treatment. It's chipped away at our infrastructure, stretched our resources to the breaking point, and strained system capacity, which hurts our economy with record flight delays and puts the public safety at risk. That's not the change we need. Change is a president who stands up for you by restoring collective bargaining standards and makes sure the FAA returns to the negotiating table, who appoints an administrator that puts the safety of the flying public and the rights of our workers above political or corporate interests, who modernizes our air traffic control system to support our air traffic controllers, and who fights against privatizing the FAA. Change is a president who's walked on picket lines, who doesn't choke on the word union, who lets them do what they do best and organize our workers, and who will finally make the Employee Free Choice Act the law of the land. Change is a president who actually stands up for American workers. It's a health care plan that will lower your premiums and cover you no matter what. It's a tax code that doesn't reward the lobbyists who wrote it, but the American workers who deserve it. And it's why I will cut taxes for 95% of working families when I am president. NATCA, that's what change is. That's the choice in this election.